Good afternoon, everyone. We're at AAHA, Warrenton, Virginia. Today is June the 11th, and we're here with members of the Baltimore family from Parker County, and also Baltimore Baltimore family is represented. She may or may not participate, but I'm hoping she will add where she finds it necessary. Appropriate. What I would want to do is let you know, we started doing oral histories around 2002, and we've collected quite a few about elders. And about a month ago, we met with a young lady, Gloria G. Baltimore Carter, and she was accompanied by a gentleman, James Baltimore Coleman, and he asked, what makes up an elder? And I said, well, experience, age, anything like that. And he suggested that I contact Mr. Golden Baltimore. And that's what I did. And that's why you're here today. So I'm so glad you were able to make it. The first thing I'm giving you is a sheet of paper. It gives us permission to record, take your picture, and use your words in history presentations or anything like that that we might do in the future.
My writing's not good today.
That's okay. I give it.
What is today?
Today's 11.
Thank you.
Yeah. My writing's bad. Comes and goes. It shingles this side. And so
Shingles seems to be, I talked to so many people who had shingles. Oh my God, it's okay. Thank you so much.
it affects your nerve.
Yes, it was painful.
Let's see if I can make this a little better. All right.
All right, thank you so much. I'm signing as the AAHA staff representative.
You're doing good.
Yeah, doing good. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. Got your road partner here with
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Now, when we were doing oral histories before, we would consider this a round table,
Okay.
which means it's more than just one person doing all the talking. So what
Are
you
you
want.
taping or something?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what Donna's doing here. So you're on record, and you gave us permission to do that with that sheet. So that's what that is. So I'm going to begin and ask if we'll start maybe on this side, if you can just go around and give us your full name.
Golden Moore, son of Golden B. and Ann Elizabeth Baltimore.
Wilbert L. Baltimore, nephew to Golden Baltimore.
Golden B. Baltimore. Desmond, that is my middle name, and I'm the father of Golden and the husband of Ann.
And you are?
Ann Rhodes, Baltimore, wife of Golden, mother of Golden A, and aunt of Wilbert.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to start again. If you don't mind telling us where you were born, we'll start with you.
I was born in Georgetown, DC. You go to Women's Hospital, who's was?
Columbia Hospital,
Columbia Women's Hospital, yeah. Georgia.
1960.
1960. You, sir?
I was born in Jefferson County, West Virginia, 1939.
I was born in my family home in Linden on Africa Mountain in 1938 by a midwife, Lucy Clough, yeah,
Lucy Clough was the
Yes.
midwife.
yes.
Okay. All right. And you,
I was born in Front Royal, Virginia, Warren County Hospital, Front Royal, Virginia.
Thank you.
thank you. Now, I'm gonna narrow down a little bit. I'm gonna focus on you, sir.
Okay.
Do you mind listing out your brothers and sisters? It doesn't have to be in birth order, however it comes, because I know you have a large family, and I want to make sure we capture all of those names. Okay,
Well, my older brother was Robert. The second oldest was Henry, and then Eugene, and then Warner, and then John, and then Paul, then Roland, Edward, Howland, Lloyd, and myself. And I had 5 sisters.
okay, what are their names?
Lucy was the oldest, Rachel was the second, and then Margaret, Alice, and Elsa.
And you'd mentioned earlier that your father was married twice.
Yes.
Okay, what were his wives' names?
His first wife was named Anna Franklin.
Okay. Franklin
Yes.
was a
Yes.
maiden name.
Yes,
And
they had 8 children by Anna and 1 deceased at birth. Yeah,
your mother,
my mother was Sarah Elizabeth Rector.
Rector,
Yes,
that was that the rectors in Marshall, Rectortown area? Or do you know?
from back in the hollow of Baltimore's Hollow in Hume. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, it was a rector store up there or something, wasn't it? Oh, no.
yeah, it was Rector, but they was white people, so I don't know if it was any,
Could have been.
you know,
Yeah,
it
okay,
passed along a lot of
okay,
stuff down. so-
right, yeah, I understand. I think everyone of our family.
Oh, yeah, mixed in.
Yeah. So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in West Virginia,
You grew up in West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
so make sure.
Charleston.
You, Bishop Eugene,
Yes,
okay, so you grew up in West Virginia. You grew up, Mr. Golden,
Mhm.
senior, the elder. You grew up in Linden.
So, my first part of my life was in Linden, but we moved away from Fauquier County in 1946. And we moved to Bentonville, Virginia, which was in Warren County. And we moved from Bentonville in 1950 to Front Royal, Virginia, and that's where we lived ever since. Yeah,
And where did you grow up? In Front Royal?
In Front Royal,
You grew up in Front Royal.
yeah,
So you're a Warren County lady.
yes, I am.
Okay, but you have roots in Fauquier, right? Your family, the Gibbses?
Yeah, the
You-
Gibbs,
the
my
Gibbs.
mother.
Okay, your mother's side was in Fauquier, okay.
Mhm.
And your father was from,
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
oh, really? Okay. Now he came to Front Royal after he met your mom, or did
He
he come
came,
from work, or?
he came to Front Royal for work.
Okay,
he was working at the Royal Hotel in Front Royal
okay,
when he met her mother,
okay.
yeah, him and his brother.
Now, was the Royal Hotel,
It was right there at 6th Street in Front Royal, right where the 7-Eleven is now. Right on Royal Avenue,
yeah,
and Kendrick Lane.
okay.
I mean, yeah,
Now, was that white owned or black owned?
it was white,
White owned,
Yeah.
okay,
but a lot of black people worked there at that time.
okay.
I remember the hotel before it was torn down, yeah.
Was it pretty large, quite a few?
Large hotel, yeah. It still got a little small building in behind it where Andrew's, what's called, novelty shop is.
Oh, okay.
That's still there. It was like a little garage or something. But
Yeah.
they told him build it. I don't know why they told him. It was a nice hotel, I thought, yeah.
Sometimes they think
Yeah.
it's more expensive to
Mhm.
renovate than to
Yeah.
take it down and build new, I guess. So, you served in West Virginia, right? What did your parents do?
Well, my mother was domestic
Okay,
and my father worked here and there and everywhere.
so they like, you say labor,
Labor.
farm work,
What was-
factory work?
He did work in the, he was a laborer for a while, then he worked in the airplane factory in Hagerstown.
Airplane factory,
That's Fairchild.
Yeah, Fairchild, yeah, I remember that.
Fairchild.
I remember these working on.
How about you, sir? You're a little bit younger than some of these, at the table.
What do I do?
Yeah, where did you work? I know what you said, but
The last job I had was operations manager for power company,
power company.
43 years. And just retired.
Started off as a lineman.
And started as a lineman
Okay.
on electric
Hmm.
and everything else. And
Did you have, did you have to go to special training for that, away from home, or you did it on
at that
job?
point, it was all hands on the job. When I retired, that we had a school that brought people in, which didn't work very well because like if we brought somebody from Warrenton that's 18 years old and they had a job in Frederick, they didn't want to stay.
Oh,
They wanted to get back home. So we went back to apprentice lineman, just like if I pick him out of the crowd or something like that, he was going to work right here in the morning.
now, tell me a little bit about your education. Where did, you're gonna take a few minutes, I think. I'm gonna ask you about your education experiences, but I want you to go last, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
Want me
because
to
it's
go
that.
Because I think I got a special question for you. I just want to talk about the high school.
Okay.
Okay. Where were you, where did you go to school?
My schooling was, I went to Ressie Jeffers Elementary School. I went to the 7th grade and graduated from elementary, and that was it. I went into workforce and I took a correspondence course in management from Cornell University in New York. And I went into management for A&P tea company and worked there for 17 years. And then I left them and went manage a store in Front Royal, Virginia at the on the bypass where the government building is now. And then I left them and went to work for Plus Discount Foods as a co-manager. And I left them after they closed and went to Shoppers Food Warehouse and worked for 14 and a half years as management and also a hot food supervisor. I trained all of the managers and all the hot food people in the deli and hot food. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. Correspondence courses, I didn't even realize that they would recognize them in some of these job markets, but they do it, so that's,
A&P paid for it.
oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they paid for mine.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Some of our stories aren't quite as positive. You, sir, where did you go to school?
Well, I went to elementary school in Charlestown, high school, Pace Jackson High School in Charlestown. I went to Shepherd College in Shepherdstown. I went to GW in Washington and the North Carolina College of Theology out of Wilmington, North Carolina.
Did you travel there, or was it, not online, correspondence? Correspondence, okay. And, you, Golden, the younger,
Graduated high school,
which one?
Warren County High.
One, okay.
There'll be a story about that shortly. And then went to 2 semesters of computer science down at Nova. And girls got in the way, so
No, it was pretty good.
And that was it, but I started, 20 years old with the fire. Before that, the year before I started, when I was working at 14,
Oh,
gas station, mom, dad, bring me lunch, and that was it.
Miss Baltimore, tell me about, where did you go to school?
I went, front row, they had, I guess they call it the front row college school. Grade school. And then, high school, I went 2 years here in Warrenton. Then from there, I went 2 years at Clark County in Burrville. Then at the second year in Clark County, they opened up the school in Front Royal, Warren County High School. So that's when the start of massive resistance. I started there that 1 year. That was my senior year of high school. And we started to go to school that year, but they closed it. So we were out of school for a few months. Then NAACP found families in Washington, D.C. that would house us. And we went to school there for a few months.
Easton.
I went to Easton High School. So the judge ruled that they had to open the school back up because they closed it so that we could not go. So it was open that we had to go. So we came back and then we went to the high school for 21. It was 23 of us that went to that high school, supposed to go. And 21 came back. One stayed in DC, one stayed in New York. But 21 came back. 21 students went to the school. And on the first day back, it was, what can you say, pandemonium at the foot of the hill, where I guess white families, they were calling you everything but your name. And we were just, yes, we were 17 and younger, trying to go to school. And they were calling you everything but your name. But we persevered, went up the hill that first day. And here we were, 21 children and a whole high school. But to finish out the year, but we did. And then there were only maybe 5 teachers in the whole high school that, to teach 21 children. I had 2 teachers. One was one was a government teacher, and one was an English teacher. My high school year, my senior year. So my government teachers, he decided that Ed it's no sense in you sitting there at one desk, like it would be a school, a classroom full of children. Say, just come on up and we'll just set up the desk like this. That it would be like for a work desk. And you and I just sit up here together. And his name, and I'll never forget it. And I don't know why. Colonel Apgar.
Afghan.
Yes, that was my government teacher. My English teacher was Mr. Duffy. That was, at the time, he was the principal of the high school. So he taught the language class, but it wasn't just myself because he taught, there were 3 juniors at the time. So we were in the class together. So he's decided, well, I'm the only senior. I was the only senior at the school at the time. And you go and order your class ring. Okay. I did that for my daughter. So, that was something. Well, you're not going to have a graduation because you're the only one. And, but you figure you would get your diploma. Well, by that time, well, no, sometime for graduation, they decided that I didn't have enough points. But I knew that I did, but what were you going to do? So they decided that I needed to go back to DC for English to get my extra point in English. So I did. So I had to go back for summer school.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to wait a whole year.
No. I just had to go back for that. So I did, and I come back, but still no diploma. So I come back. I got my, I figured out, okay, I got my points. So where's my diploma? I didn't get it. They didn't give it to me. So I waited. And I waited. Well, I never got it. At the time, although you're in school, and it's not like like now, you have counselors and everybody that was trying to help you to further your education. You didn't have that then. So I come out. I don't think I worked. No, I got married, raised a family, still no diploma. So, yeah, I have raised a family. My children have gone through school. My oldest son is getting ready to graduate. And one of the teachers, and we're going to get that diploma. I don't care what goes on, but every year in the newspaper, there was always this one person that said, I was the first person to graduate from Warren County High School. And she kept wondering, why do you let him always say that when you know that he was not? And he wasn't even a senior that year. You were the first senior to come out of Warren County High School. I said, I'm not going to say anything. My time, my day will come. And I believe that. I don't know why I believed it, but, you know, I was a person that never said that much at any given time. And I just figured it wasn't my time to say anything. But when my son graduated, it wasn't the day that he graduated. It was the year that he graduated in 1959. 19 years from the time that I come out of high school. That's when I got my diploma.
Oh my goodness.
And my son graduated.
Okay.
Now, do you graduate? Do you want to come across when he does? Well, no, that's his graduation. I don't want to take anything from him. I know that I've got my diploma for what I want, and it will always show that I didn't get it when it was my time, because then it would have shown in Rhodes, right? So I wanted to show Ann Rhodes, Baltimore. It was me as my young self and my married self. So that's how my diploma shows. Ann Rhodes, Baltimore, 1959. And it was the only one. And I figured I did not get it because there was not a person, no one, with a diploma from that year out of Warren County High School. And as far as my class ring, when I went to get it, the jeweler wouldn't let me have it.
Really?
It came in. Mom and I went to pick it up. And what makes it so bad, he even called us. Your ring is in. And this goes to show you but you know, I'm young. And to show you how, I guess, and to say how I can say it now. White people are or were at the time, and maybe some still are now. We went to pick it up, and I tried it on. It fit perfectly. And he said, but you can't have it. And I said, well, why not? He said, because I said so.
Oh my gosh.
So Mama says, and come on, let's go. I said, but I don't have my ring. And that was just heartbreaking. But Mama, I guess as people say, Mama was meek and humble, you know, and I didn't understand then what that was, but she was not going to fight over it or anything else. So we left, no class ring. But I did get my class ring, 1959. And as far as I know, I should be the only one with that class ring that says 1959. Because another jeweler in Front Royal, it wasn't that year, it was a few years later, Cotton Owens, and I remember his name. He asked me, do you want me to get your class ring?
And what was his name?
Cotton Owens.
Yeah, I know.
Owens, Owens.
Yes.
Owens.
And he said, I can get your class ring for you. And he did.
Oh my goodness.
So that's how I got my class ring. But it took 19 years to get my diploma.
Wow. Now you know why I wanted you last. I wanted that story. Go ahead.
But we didn't find out till later, and the 5 schools that was closed during the integration, which was Arlington, Prince Edward, Charlottesville, Warren County, and what was the last one? But it was 5 of them that was closed. And she was the only senior that year. She was the only senior that graduated from 1959. That, out of the old 5 schools. Yeah, so that's documented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's on the film.
Yes. They've done more than one
Yes.
of those documentaries, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
related to that. Of the 21, do you know how many are still living? I know some might be.
If you,
There's only, there are the 3,
your sister Geraldine,
wait a minute, the Coleman girls,
Okay.
my sister Gerald, Suetta Dean. I think it's either 6, I think now it's only 6 of us,
6 remains. Oh, I'm so glad you.
of the 23 of us. Yeah, because it was George
yeah,
and George
George just passed back months ago.
Yes, of the 23, it's just 6 of us left. And Front Royal, of all the counties, Front Royal is the only county really that never did anything for us. Anything. And Bo Dickinson and on, I don't really consider his last name wrong. I'll just say Owen. They went out of their way
Okay, great, good.
to get everything together for, to do our history
Mhm.
of Fort County.
I think the thing that I remember most, having done research afterwards, was the opening of Mosby Academy.
Yes,
That was so the white kids wouldn't have
Yes.
to go, so they
Right.
opened a private
Consider-
school. And, it's a museum now, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
No, it's a government center.
Oh, is
It's,
it? Okay.
yeah, it's where, the health department is there, and it's, some of the government, it's the health department and social services is in there and, a couple other things, yeah. It's,
Now, in Fauquier County, I know the history pretty much of how segregation, desegregation happened here. In West Virginia, what was desegregation like for you, or how soon did it come?
I finished, high school in a segregated school in 57.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure after that how the integration occurred, but it did.
Okay.
Uh,
But you had moved on
I had
from
moved on,
that, okay.
yeah, and I'd gone to Shepherd College, which at that time integrated.
Was integrated.
It integrated
Oh, while you were there?
just before I got there,
Oh, okay.
maybe a year before. Yeah,
And you were always in integrated schools? Elementary and high school? Yeah. good deal.
I lived in kindergarten.
I think I know the answer to this from some of you. Growing up, did you all have livestock and gardens at your place when you were living?
yes, yes, I wanted to tell you about that too. When my dad, was, we was talking before.
Now tell
we
me your
started.
dad's name again.
Thomas Baslin, Baltimore,
How do you
And-
spell Baslin?
Baslin. And I know, you must be as easy. It's BSS, I like that. But anyway, my dad, like I said, he was born in 1879, but none of my dad, and for as I know, my grandfather, I didn't know my grandfather because he was dead before I was born. But none of them ever talked about slavery, and I don't think any of them was ever in slavery because they never talked about it. So, you know, if you was in slavery, you would sure talk about it. And he, when he was raising his family, his first family and his second, he had livestock. We had hogs, we had chickens, we had turkeys, we had guineas, we had cows, we had horses, because when him and my mom got married, he had a horse named Coley, and I can't remember what she said her horse's name was, but they was get on the horse and the horse would prance and do all kind of tricks with him and stuff and everything. We had an old barn that came down the road to come down. I remember that, and I remember the horse that he had, and I remember when he died, and then the rental company came and picked the horse up and made soap out of him or whatever. We got some bar soap, you know, washing soap. But we had a garden up from the house. And I mean, we grew everything. I don't care what it was. We had pear trees, we had peach trees, we had apple trees, we had chestnut trees, walnut trees. I mean, just about everything. Everything was right there, what we needed. And in one of the cold springs, that water, you would drink it and it freeze your teeth, you know, when you drank it. And so we didn't want for nothing. And we lived there, like I said, after
And this is up on the mountain?
yes.
Okay.
And when all of my other siblings had left and you know, went and got married and started their families and stuff. And it wasn't nobody but me and my sister Elsie and Alice, you know, that lived at there. My sister Margaret was gone too. And the kitchen and the washroom was separate from the living quarters. You had to go over, and that's where you did the cooking, did the stuff, you know, for the breakfast and the food, prepare the food. And then you did the washing and stuff in there. And then you would take it back over in the big house, you know, to eat. And like on second Sunday in July and stuff, all of our family members would come back. His dad and all my older sisters and my older brothers would come back for homecoming, and it would be so many in the house, and sometime my nephew Tucson was laughing and talking about it, and he said we were all on the floor sleeping and everywhere, man.
Now, was that Mount Perrin?
Yeah, it was Mount Perrin, yeah, where we would go
The
for the
homecoming.
homecoming, yeah. And we would, like I said, we would all meet there and go, you know, for the homecoming. There'd be so many people. Oh my God, you know, you wouldn't believe how. And we would have one of the wonderful times and stuff, and so much food and stuff. You know, it was just a joyful time, you know. And my dad had one brother, which was named Cecil, and we never did ever see him. You know, nobody in my family, you know, my brother Lloyd, which was a few years older than I was, but I had brothers that were older than he was, that say they never seen him either, but he said he did, you know, and I don't know if he was talking off his head or not, but we had big pictures, like these pictures you got there, but it was huge, you know, but
Big frames.
yeah, big frames. And we had a picture of him. We had a picture of my Uncle Henry. We found out later through my nephew that his name was Henrico,
Oh,
but we called him Uncle Henry. And his picture was on the wall, and he looked like a white man, really. And then my picture of my grandfather, Peter, and we had a picture of my grandmother, Lucy, great grandmother, I'm sorry. And I think it was a picture of my grandmother too, Elsie. But we never ever saw my Uncle Cecil. And I would always ask that. I was, you know, look at the picture and I said, Daddy, where's Uncle Cecil? You know, because everybody would always come back for homecoming, you know, when they have it at the church. But he never did ever come back, you know. I don't know why he left, and we didn't know. My dad, he didn't really talk about his family. He didn't really talk about his mom or dad, you know. Dad was a kind of quiet person. He would talk to you if you talked to him, but
he didn't volunteer or
no,
anything.
no.
Very soft-spoken.
And he talked about, because it took me 30-some years before I found out who, what was my uncle name?
Will Dayton.
Mhm.
Will Dayton.
Will Dayton. He would always talk, this was his dad's brother.
This would have been
Yes,
his brother,
my father's
or
brother.
the father's brother.
Yeah.
Thomas's brother, okay.
No,
And not his brother, it
No,
was his
Thomas's
granddad's,
father.
it was Thomas's father's brother. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And he would always talk about everything was there. Me and Will Dayton, Will Dayton. And then later on in life, you know, I was thinking, I said, how in the world? I never knew any Daytons lived up on the mountain. You know, I knew all the other families, the Chrismans, the Kings, the Jacksons, and all them, you know. And I said, I've never heard the name of Dayton, you know. Where did the Dayton come from? Well, like I said, it took me 30-some years to find out this was my grandfather's brother that Dad was talking about, but they was close. He did talk about Will Dayton. He talked about him more than he talked about his dad or mom or whoever else, you know, and stuff. But my grandfather, he was like I don't know if we call him a
He was an overseer.
overseer. You know, he worked on a big farm, and he,
Now, this is Peter.
yes,
Okay.
all of Ann's uncles worked, well, not all of them. Uncle Tom, which was Uncle Tom, Reverend Tom Gaskins, Reverend Tom Gibbs, I'm sorry. And Dalton Gibbs and Anthony, they all worked for him. And they thought the world of him because they had an appreciation thing at Mount Morris Baptist Church in Hume for Uncle Dalton. And Uncle Tom got up and talked about, yeah, me and Dalton, we worked on the farm with Peter Baltimore. Well, the whole conversation went to Peter. They talked about Peter and stuff. Because a lot of people in my family, they didn't say too good of things about my grandfather Peter, you know, and stuff. Even my sister Rachel, I went there one time to was talking to her, me and my brother Alan, Reverend Baltimore, Alan Baltimore. And I mentioned his name. I said, Sister Rachel, I said, you was older and you knew Granddaddy Pete. And I said, can you tell me, you know, what was Granddaddy Pete like, you know, because you knew him. She had fixed a scarf and some cake. And she said, look, She said, the only thing I can tell you about that bee is dead and I don't want to talk
Oh,
about
my
it.
goodness.
And I said, okay.
Do you know the name of the farm where he was?
No, that's what we trying to find out. He's trying to find out.
I'm trying to find that out
Yeah.
now.
Was it in, would you think it was in Hume area, Lindsay?
Yes.
I think it may have been because they came from Crest Hill, which is Rappahannock County.
Mhm.
So, and then they migrated to on the mountain. So I'm trying to find out. I know one group, one farm that it was called the Downing. They were Downings.
Okay, that owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And my great grandmother else worked for them. And who was it? Walter Miles.
Yeah.
Walter Miles, who we don't know his connection to the Baltimore family, but he and granddad, great granddad, got this land from John Marshall, and from John Marshall, they got it together. He sold the land to them together. After great granddaddy died. And I just found that out. Totally, I just found that
Right.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
After great granddaddy died, they had to divide the land. This is why we
Right.
had 20 some acres,
Right.
because it was 50 some acres.
56 acres.
56 acres. So they divided that land between Walter Miles and Peter Baltimore number two.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Number two.
Number two.
I know the Miles name, some of that's in the Free State and the early records in Orleans, there were Mileses. Because Baltimore's name.
Now, her uncles, several of them, and her grandmother lived on, I was gonna tell Wilbert this too. Lord Gold, you ever heard of that?
I've heard of the name.
Lord Gold Farm. They lived on the Lord Gold Farm, so I don't know if that was who that where he worked, my grandfather. I don't know if he was the charge hand, there on that farm or not. But they lived on that Lord Gold Farm, but I haven't been able to find out about it.
Okay, and the,
Yeah, I got it.
the farm in Hume, the Still-House Hollow.
Yeah, and okay, that's where Uncle Tom lived last.
Yeah.
They worked still, and my brother did too, brother Paul, and Paul Baltimore worked there too. He lived on Stillhouse on the farm, both of them did. Not in the same place. Paul lived way up from.
We were on the same school bus
Okay,
and for high school.
okay, so you went with Paul Jr. and Carol and Danny, yeah, okay.
And then the last.
That's my nephew,
It
yeah.
was, Danny, because the other two were gone.
Yes,
No, Jerry.
Right,
Paul
yeah.
was gone. I remember.
Paul was in,
He was in Florida.
Florida, Texas, yeah, Texas, Sonny, yeah, called Sonny, but his name was Paul, yeah.
I didn't know the nickname.
Yeah. Was some, and we don't know the collection were back of the church, it was a house. And when,
At Mount Morris.
no, in Mount Parent,
Oh, okay,
Linda,
okay.
Berta Clock, we called her Ann Bert Clock.
Mhm.
That's what my dad and all my whole family called her, Ann Bert Clock. I don't remember, but we would just go by their house and the house was still there and the stuff, and they had a stairwell that went up out the outside of the house where you could go up to the top part to the kitchen,
Mhm.
and then the rest of the part you go in through down low. And after, years and the house fell down and stuff, So me and my son, we go up there and we hunt on the property, on the house, you know, because it's our property up there too. To run next to us. So we went down there by the house and we was just had sticks. We didn't have no sticks, didn't no metal detector, nothing. And God, you wouldn't believe the stuff. I got it all around my whole uh, fireplace downstairs. Thank you. And all kind of different metals, some of the locks, keys. I got a key was about that long, stuff, big and stuff. And we never found the money, but we did find the locks and the keys and stuff. But anyway,
So, Bert,
we don't know how that she was connected, why we called her Ann Berry Clark. But we went up to Cutting Guys one day and helped him cut some trees.
was
And
guys, was guys.
Guy Jackson, yeah.
Oh,
He was our cousin.
okay.
So it was Sylvia's dad.
Mhm.
So he was telling us about her. And he said, yeah. Ann Bird said she was a blacksmith. And that's how she made all these. Look, she even did horseshoes and stuff for the Confederate soldiers. And because we found so many horseshoes, different sizes and different, some of them big, some of them real small, and all kind of stuff. And said she was a blacksmith. She said she got married and was only married for one day. And he said they never seen her husband after that. So they don't know what happened to him, you know, just he's buried down there. We never found any bones, you know, stuff digging around, but we found everything else, you know, so I don't know. And I don't know how she was connected to the family.
So do you think Clark was her married name?
Yeah.
Or,
No,
Her name was Gertrude.
yeah,
Her name was Gertrude Clark.
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay, she also worked for and could have been the blacksmith for the Downing family.
Yeah.
Because she was in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was in that
Yeah.
1870 census.
census.
Mhm.
Man. Would I be interrupting you all if I went to the restroom? Okay, thank you.
Women know
I didn't take my fluid pill this morning. I didn't take my fluid pill this morning, but I'm glad. But I still got to go.
Be good
God
company.
bless y'all. Thank y'all.
I should have printed out what I have
Mhm.
because a lot of what we're getting ready to talk about now is in what I'm doing.
Okay,
Okay, well, I really want to know what farms they worked on. I don't know that. I may have to go down in Rappahannock County
To
and
get
see what
started.
records they have on the Baltimores there. It is understood, well, the 1870 census said that Peter Baltimore was white. Okay, Peter Baltimore was the son of Samuel Baltimore. Samuel Baltimore, and they said Tamar, Lucinda Tamar.
Tamar.
Uh-huh. You heard that name? Okay.
I just know it from the Bible.
But out of that, well, now Samuel Baltimore he had about 6 or 7 sons and maybe one daughter. Okay, and so I do know that Granddad Granddad Peter's brother, Nelson, married a slave. He got permission
Mhm.
from the landowner or the master to marry her. Her name was Amanda. Her name was Amanda Campbell.
Campbell?
Campbell. And they had quite a few children. I don't know where they came from.
Mhm.
unless she had been transferred from some other.
Other properties.
Yeah, and they gave her the last name Campbell because of those people.
You don't think it could have been Campbell when they misspelled?
It could have been, I don't know. But they say it was in the census. Oh, it was in the record. These people, cousins had given me
Okay.
some records of their research, and it was Amanda Campbell.
You don't always find last names
Mhm.
for the enslaved people.
They were usually numbers.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's what we're finding a lot of them.
Yeah.
And the census takers, they were not the best spellers either. We noticed that.
Okay.
And if an enslaved person was extremely aged, like 90 or 100, they might give them a first name.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you see on the census, the 1860 census in particular, we paid attention to because we tried to find who was living here during the Revolutionary War era. And we found one lady who they said was 107, and her name was Suki, and she was down Elk Run area of Fauquier County. But the census taker actually gave her a name, a full name, Suki Homestead, because of her age, because she talked about soldiers going from Elk Run, going towards Winchester during the Revolutionary War. So if indeed the census takers had any heart at all, and they had some knowledge of what's important, they may make lists like that. Otherwise, you're right, it's just a tick.
you know, in my school where I was assistant principal in Annapolis.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, you've been in Maryland a while.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little boy, mother came in, she was white, and the little boy,
Mhm.
she registered, his last name was Baltimore.
Oh, you're kidding.
So the kids say, is that your wife? I said, no, that's not my wife. But she told me her father-in-law's name was Stuart Baltimore. And he worked at, what was it, Penny Pennies.
Oh,
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
And it was funny. I saw him. And I walked up to him. I said to him, oh, is your last name Baltimore?
Mhm.
He said, yes, my name is last name is Baltimore. Kind of short guy with long hair. I said, my last name is Baltimore too. He said, oh. I said, where are you from? He said, Warrenton, Virginia. I said, well, that's where my family's from. He turned around and walked away from me. He walked away from me. I said, old rascal, you could have been one of my granddaddy Samuel's
Yeah.
children from, but I've been trying to find his name. I can't find it.
But do you think he was passing?
Oh, he was passing.
The reason he wouldn't connect.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he was passing because the little boy was
Mhm.
and his mother was white. So therefore, his father was white.
Yeah,
It was all white.
right.
So I said, well, anytime you got the Baltimore name, you're white.
Mm.
You got that. If you go back when I had my DNA done,
Mhm.
okay, I did it to find out where I came from, and it came back European.
Mhm.
Later on, Ireland.
Is that the strongest European is Ireland?
Mhm. So I found out from another Baltimore who I was, showed up in her.
Mhm.
She black, her aunt because she's black. But anyway, I showed up in her DNA. And she said to me, oh, you're 56% white. And I said, oh, okay.
I tell people, welcome to Virginia.
Yeah, that's the way it is. We all,
It's,
we didn't get the color we are.
listen,
Not color.
look, he's white. I'm the color that granddaddy Pete was right in the house. Okay.
But sister, the cemetery in Cedarville now is the Henrico Family Cemetery in Cedarville. It was just discovered a few years ago. A white man had bought this property and he started to explore it, and he found out he was wondering, he seen all this, it's like a pyramid, these stones all over the place, and come find out it was they call it the West African Cemetery, the Henrico West African Cemetery, and it's a National Historical Site now.
Oh, wow.
And we've been out there sometimes, my sons and Wilbert too. We all went together. And they still keep finding graves, and even out in the woods, they got real fences all the way around the whole big place where these put it. But it's a lot of, they said it's estimated probably another 200 graves out in the woods, because it was like the slaves and stuff, they would burn, the kids and stuff, out in the woods.
Well, the story is that Henrico, which was my great-grandfather's son, migrated to Cedarville and helped to form a community of free blacks. And I think he must have married into a black person, because the Baltimores I met there say they were no kin to us. Okay, because their parents say they weren't. Yet their great-great-great-grandfather was Samuel Baltimore.
The same person.
Right, same person.
So I tried to get in touch with him, and I talked to him once, and I said, "Well, you can." He said, "No, we would go as them kids." The father they would see a Baltimore name on post on the mailbox, and he would ask us, "Are we kin to them?" And they said, "No, we're no kin to them."
They just don't know.
Some of our people had went out to the cemetery first, when they were first discovered, and they found out that they went out there, and they turned around and said that they were gonna have them arrested if they ever come back out there again. But this white girl that belongs to the church where we go, Mary Hack, she adopted 4 plots out there, cemeteries.
We know Mary.
You know Mary, right? Okay, so she went to the historical site, and it's a National Historical Society now, so they can't stop you from, going out there and stuff, and everything.
And she was the one that Claudia and Barbara, you know them.
Yeah.
All right, she was the one that told them that that's where the black slaves came in. Okay, here's the thing. In Virginia law says if you marry, you could be white, you could be Indian, but if you marry a slave, you were black. All the other children, and including you will be black. That's just what Virginia did.
Yeah, like I said,
But
good old Virginia.
Good old Virginia.
before we even knew about the cemetery, my dad's sister, Leola, she moved to Front Royal. And we hadn't seen her in a long time because she lived in Alexandria for quite a few years. She had married Hackney. And so, but they had been, before he had died, but I think they was divorced before he died. But anyway, she moved, after moved Front Row, she moved up over top of the barber shop and where the pool room was at. So me and my brother, Reverend Allen Baltimore, went up to see her. And we had a good time, talking to her and stuff and everything. And she was the same way like my sister Rachel. When she talked about her dad, look, she had nothing good to say about him, about Peter Baltimore. Because she said,
You want to go find out about Peter Baltimore?
yeah, she said he wasn't nothing but a womanizer.
Oh.
And she said that he had kids from the top of this mountain all the way to Cedarville. And me and Alan laughed about that thing, and we would talk sometime like 2 or 3 times a week. He'd call me, I'd call him. Because he lived right, if you come to the end of my street, his house was sitting right at the end of George Bank Boulevard, right on that street. So we could walk, to each other's house, but we would call each other each night, and we'd get to talk about Granddaddy Pete. And we laughed and said, yeah, man, said, out of Cedarville. Why in the world she said Cedarville? Well, we didn't know, but so it must have been true, because here all these family people was buried out there at Cedarville. So she knew more than what we knew.
Now, it's your sister Rachel was Poles her married name?
Folks,
That I know.
yeah, she married James Folks. Yeah,
Yeah,
James Folks.
yeah, from churches,
Yeah.
just going to church.
Yeah,
Well, don't let me get to asking you about your family.
Oh, you can ask me something. What is it?
Yeah, because you look like you could be Ken, but you got Indian in you.
But my DNA doesn't show it.
it's some youths in Charlestown. They can do it too.
I don't know.
Does it show that you have any Oriental blood in you?
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
The Oriental
Yeah.
blood is the Indians
Yeah.
of America.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense.
See, I have the Oriental blood too.
Yeah, we got it in Africa. See, back then, I had a paper and I got to find it where that they was talking about like Granddaddy Pete and all the rest of my family way back. They would, how they got ahead, they would hang out with the Indians some and get ahead, and then they would hang out with the white people, and then come back to the blacks, and stuff. That's how they got the property and all this other stuff, with, you had to do what you had to do to survive.
To me, yeah.
Yeah.
Find
Mhm.
peace. Any of your family in the military, any wars, any discussions?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Uncle Rose.
Yes. I had 3 brothers in the service at the same time.
Okay.
Roland, John, and Eddie. And they all met in Germany and everything. And then my brother Eddie and Roland was sent to Normandy, and they was
Normandy?
Yeah, it was invaded.
So that's World War II.
Yes, they was in the invasion of Normandy.
Okay.
Over, my brother Roland he got wounded in the Second World War. He got shrapnel, had big places in his back like that. If he took his shirt off, where the shrapnel hit him in the back. I don't know how he would survive. He was in the hospital in Tokyo for 3 or 4 months.
Lost the mind too.
Yeah, well, that was in Korea. And then,
Oh, so he stayed in the military?
yeah, stayed in the military. He was 25 or 27 years. And actually, he still didn't get out of the military after he left the army. He was in the Korean War, and that's how he lost his right eye in the Korean War.
Now, which one was he now?
Roland.
Roland, okay, I just want to make sure.
Mhm. And
Oldest one of the second half.
but he,
Oldest one of the second half.
yeah,
Okay,
he lost. But anyway, after he got out of the army, he went to work for Merritt Air Force Base in Pennsylvania and Harrisburg, and worked there and stuff. And then After he left there, he went to work for the state of Pennsylvania at the mental hospital. And me and Ann went up to see him, and here he was in a police cruiser, just like the state police. I'm serious, they had the signs and the
all
guns,
the
everything.
strappings.
Oh, yes, everything.
So he would have been born in probably on the mountain.
Yes, yes,
He
it
would
was.
have been born there, went in the military,
Mhm.
World War
He
II.
went in when he was 15 or 16 years old, yeah.
Oh,
he
he
went-
volunteered
yes.
That
And
is.
he went up to Remount, which is right up from Fort Ross. And that's where he went in his training before he went into service. Yeah.
Then your other brother, you said three.
Edward, yeah, and John, yeah.
I just want to make sure.
But they did meet in Germany, and Eddie was a truck driver. Roland was this 24th Infantry Division. And I forgot, I think John was he was in another infantry division, but I don't know if it was 24th or what, I don't think it was, but I don't know exactly which one it was. But then they were so glad to see each other, they hadn't seen it, yeah, and yeah.
Your direct line in military, anyone in your family?
My
How many-
brother,
Your brother,
my brother,
Eugene,
Eugene, he was in the Navy.
name,
yeah.
okay. Did he see any action?
No.
Okay.
He was on the ship, most of the
He was on the ship.
Bainbridge, Maryland.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
down
so
there.
he's kind of local.
Yeah.
The Tucson.
That's what Tucson, yeah.
No. I don't know if you told me your age. Was Vietnam in play when you were young or
Yeah,
Vietnam? Okay.
I remember in,
Because here, a lot of my high school classmates ended up
Yeah.
in Vietnam or in
Yeah.
being drafted about that time.
yeah, they were gonna get me, but I was in school, so they excused me.
Okay,
Me and a good friend of mine, we're still good friends. He's still living, John Matthews in Fort Ross. We signed a great house from Winchester. He was a recruiter for Air Force. So we would sign the papers and stuff to go into the Air Force. So I don't know, that weekend I got to thinking about it. And I said, man, I don't want to go to the Air Force. So we were supposed to go for, what do you call it? You go for, no, for the
Physical.
physical, yeah. I didn't go, he did, but he got turned down because he had asthma. So the next day, I got this letter from the U.S. Air Force where said that you're gonna be reclassified right away, and you're probably gonna be worried that it was gonna draft you, right away. I never got reclassified, and I never heard nothing else about it.
Somebody was in your corner, I guess.
So help me God, and can tell you that. Yeah.
Who does that look like?
Oh my God.
And Corolla was in 1919.
It looks like all of us.
He's an Indian.
Yeah.
Wow.
I looked at the picture and I said, oh my God, he looks like me.
Yeah, he does. He does.
That's like,
That's, yeah.
You know, when we used to have back 50 years ago, or 50 or 60 years ago, when we used to have our family reunion,
Marcus's,
we had
the fiance's grandfather,
what do you call it?
my
Where
grandson.
we was, where they said that we was descendants of Lord Baltimore of England, and we had arms.
Looked like a ball of
Yeah. A coat of arms. Yeah. But I don't know, But I went I had a dog
Don't,
and I had this dog and I took it to, now I can't think of the man's name. The problem with
That's
memory,
nice.
I saw,
it's
James
Cedarville.
Coleman. Baltimore.
It's a white guy and he was a veterinarian.
You was sitting with him at the home or something.
yeah,
So I walked in the room
he stays in touch with me.
He
And,
was supposed to be here today.
Huh?
he said, oh yeah, I see your name was Baltimore. And he said, you the sinners of Lord Baltimore Inc. And I said, well, I've heard that. He said, no. He said, it's true. He said, I got a book. He said, I'm gonna bring it and let you see it. And I said, okay. I said, I'd like to, see that. Well, the next time when I would take my dog back, he died before.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I never got to see. But what I want to ask you, I know when you all was at the Plains, it was a white lady used to come down to y'all's place that lived up on the mountain. She lived up in like you go up on Rattlesnake, mountain. And she was doing research on the Baltimores. And she had all of this. She was telling me, I met her at the Service Tower and Battery in Front Row. And she gave me her number, and somehow or another, I took it home and laid it down, and I couldn't find it when I needed it to call her. And I couldn't remember her name, but she was white, a nice lady. And I talked to her for a length of time, and she told me, she said, when the Baltimores migrated, she said they didn't migrate up on the mountain. At first, they lived out in Linden in this big red house. And I could never find it. Well, I did find one with the red roof and solar painted like down past where the old post office used to be.
The Baltimores are having a reunion in July.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you all are part of this group that's already been notified or not. But the gentleman that's doing it lives in Atlanta. I think his last name is Grayson. And they'll be here, they're planning to stop in here on July the 18th. And they came last year.
His last name is Gray. He's not a Baltimore. His name is Grayson.
Grayson, I think is his
Yeah.
name.
Well, it was married to. Well, I had a Grayson that was married to my first cousin.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
And he lives in
In
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and it's a group of them. People came from.
Joyce. He was married to my cousin Joyce.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know the hookup, but,
That was Uncle Stanley's daughter. Yeah.
okay. But they'll be back to Falk here in July. I think it's the 18th. It's a Saturday in July. And they came here for the first time, and we had just
Mhm.
kind of random information on Baltimore.
He's from Manassas.
I don't
That's
know
where
where
he's really from, Manassas.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But they took a picture.
So what date is it now?
July the 18th.
Okay.
And I have his phone number. I'll be happy to share it with you.
One Saturday,
That's the Saturday.
Harrisonburg, this Saturday.
That's the picture that they took.
Harrisonburg.
That's the group that
Yeah.
was here. And
Yep.
people had come from Pennsylvania, some were from Front Royal. And then he was from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, they look like it. Yeah. Look.
And there was some young kids, which made it nice.
I don't remember what he looked like. I can't remember because it's been a long time ago. She met him when she was going to the old Jenny Dean School in Manassas. And they got married, yeah.
Probably be her child or grandchild, but
Mhm.
it's organized events.
Oh, yeah, because she looks like Ed Jenny's family. Yes. Oh, yeah, this girl right here, right
The
here.
one with the blonde hair and the
Yeah.
white hair,
Oh,
the gray hair.
Yeah. Oh, my God. She looks just like her grandmother, or great grandmother, or whatever. Yeah.
Aunt Jenny.
Yeah. Yes, she does. Yes, sir. Okay. Hmm.
Well, we don't know them, do we?
Huh?
Do we know them?
I don't know
That,
them. I know Joyce and stuff, but Joyce is deceased now. But I think he's still living. He must be, yeah. Yeah,
it
Grace,
was,
yeah.
these, I think the oldest of these may have been 50. These were not
Okay,
the seniors.
okay.
I couldn't tell you who was from where either.
So they understand.
Now, we could probably call, we got her sister.
Oh, yeah, because here's Jeannie,
What?
right there.
Yeah, Jeannie, yeah. She was right down the street from us.
Okay.
Yeah. That's this Earl's.
Turn it around.
Oh,
Yeah,
Grand Uncle Stan.
yeah, Earl's, yeah.
And
Oh,
she
my
looked like
God,
her
yeah.
Jenny.
Yeah, she looked just like her grandmother, great grandmother. Yeah,
Oh, that's you in the picture.
yeah, that's.
Yeah,
you.
they were right
Okay.
out front here. They
Yeah.
came here as part of their.
Oh, yes,
their
yeah. He is too, yeah, oh, yeah, he looked like Uncle Stanley and stuff, yeah, and his Uncle Billy. He looked like more like the Billy that lived in Middleburg. Yeah, Billy Baltimore that lived in Middleburg.
So anyway, in July, you'll probably be getting some kind of contact
Okay.
about Baltimore.
Yeah, she's down, 2 streets from us, yeah. Jeannie,
But when you see her, ask her if she's gonna come in July, if she's gonna
okay.
with the Baltimore
Yeah.
reunion.
So let me ask you a question. What made you think about the Baltimores and wanting to delve into what you're doing?
Oh, it wasn't just Baltimore's. When I wasn't here when the organization formed, from the Plains, I was on the outside looking in, basically. Karen, who is upstairs, the co-family, whenever you came in. She was doing her own genealogy.
Mhm.
And then she'd meet people doing their genealogy, and things just started
Okay.
adding up, and people started bringing information. And I don't remember who started with the Baltimore collection, who started it,
Right.
but a lady working here named Jane Butler
Mhm.
went around to a lot of the communities and picked up, found some elders to talk to, and many of them were talking.
Was she black?
Yes,
Okay.
she was black.
James Baltimore was the one that started Baltimore, because he asked me to do this and everything.
Mhm.
And I said, we need popular.
Yeah,
And
and we met James just a few months ago.
Yeah.
And he came.
Yeah.
we're supposed to be here today.
Oh, he couldn't make it.
They had a cold.
Oh. But
So he's a Carter and a Coleman. I think the Colemans adopted him.
Yeah.
that's what he said, but his biological father's a Baltimore.
Right.
And
And he doesn't know, I don't think he knows which Baltimore.
No.
he's from the lineage of Daniel Baltimore.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I don't know, I had to
I
find,
knew Daniel, yeah.
yeah. One of the Baltimores was a Reverend Daniel Baltimore.
Yeah, he lived up on, old Belmont.
So far,
Yeah.
his lineage comes from exactly where ours starts. Peter Baltimore, Peter Baltimore II, Oscar Baltimore,
Yeah,
and
Samuel,
Samuel.
yeah.
It's the same line.
By the way, okay, when they came over on the boat.
Right.
They were indentures,
Mhm.
okay, which is just a name for white people who were enslaved, that's all.
Mhm.
But they came to Maryland on the Eastern Shore. And from there, it must have been more than one of them. Because from there, they went into New York. From New York back to Virginia. But Granddad Samuel's father's name was Samuel. His grandfather's name was Samuel, and they traced it back to 1760 something.
Before America was America, huh? He was under
Yeah.
England.
Yeah, and from that, Granddad Samuel, I found out who his mother was. I didn't write it down. Oh my God.
Yeah.
His mother's name was Sarah, I think.
Mhm.
And out of that, I don't know how many children they had, but they named Samuel. And out of Samuel, we found out through Granddad Pete number 2, after he died, Granddad Pete number 1 died. Number 2 gave the information about where his lineage came from. And this is how we found out that his father's name was Samuel, and his mother was named Lucinda, but he didn't put the last
Okay,
name.
yeah.
But here, J.P. Baltimore, Reverend J.P. Baltimore, in Baltimore,
Right.
was sort of like the head honcho of the Primitive Baptist Church.
Yes, he was,
Now, he would be your cousins?
yes,
Not a
Yes.
brother.
he was
Oh,
his
Sam.
Sam. Yeah, his father was Samuel Baldwin.
Samuel.
Yeah.
He had a son, Samson, who was
Yeah.
in school with me.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's how he got the name Sam.
Mhm.
See, a lot of them, they passed the name on, brothers would pass the name on to their kids, you know.
And it makes it very
Kept it in
hard
the
trying
family.
to keep the generations
Yeah,
straight.
kept it in the family.
His dad used to travel with JP,
Who did?
his name,
Your dad used to travel? Your dad was Bishop?
around the circuit.
Yeah, he was in the circuit.
Okay, now what was your dad's name?
Eugene.
Eugene Baltimore.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Eugene. Now, I went to elementary school with Douglas Eugene Baltimore,
Oh, that's a cousin.
whose dad was Douglas at Beulah Markham Church.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my generation.
Okay.
I was real young, but when his dad started preaching and Philip did, they had him up on the mountain and one of them, they called him up and Philip came up on one side of the pulpit and Eugene came up on the other side. And they met up there and they hugged and kissed and then, oh my God, they had church, I'm telling you the truth now. But both of them preached and stuff, and both of them was powerful preachers.
Yeah.
What time did you get home that night?
Oh, they shouted
I
and
bet.
danced around, I'm telling you, and the whole church was up. Oh, man, I'm telling you, I seen you got a picture of Anna Jackson that's up on the wall up there.
Where?
And yeah, it's in up on the wall, and she was the mother of the church,
That's right.
and she was so strict.
Eugene
Oh my goodness, you know.
Wilbert.
Tell you know, you
That's right.
didn't do nothing crazy in the
It's
church.
in that room.
Yeah, I'll show it to you before you
It's
go.
in that room.
In that room?
Yes, on the wall this
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
See, and I don't know, a lot of the people,
we got it.
this was in, a lot of these pictures were in the places. And we had
Same picture.
yes, in a big room.
Yeah,
And, but now they're all over the building, so I think that is on ladders, hanging pictures.
But this is so interesting to me because.
how you doing over there, young lady? You getting bored yet?
Oh, no, not bored.
Trying to picture this in your mind, huh?
Yeah.
1765, Samuel O. Baltimore,
Yeah.
as far back as, I mean, there's a Baltimore above him, but just this is just
How
like,
you found that?
okay, right here.
That was right.
Did you doubt that?
So you keeping your genealogy right at fingertips. That's good.
Yeah, what I'll do is, I'm gonna print out what I did. I put it in a book form.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna print it out, and what we can do is collaborate on it and make sure that that part gets into the book.
Yeah.
Well, I have your notes.
Oh,
This is.
you called
I
me.
gave it to him. I gave it to him.
And then
But look-
me and James have been working back and forth because we've been following the direct line.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And she said that Bill Boy Uncle Tom,
son.
Reverend
Yeah.
Tom's son, he did, history on the Gibbs family. So she gonna try to find it. We ain't thrown it away. It's at the house somewhere, but we gotta find it. And,
I think it's on,
so
what's here?
it might tell you which
Website.
farm that,
I think it's on the Eric's website.
that they work
know.
on to where
Yeah.
relative people.
Right after the Civil War, a lot of the Confederates
Yeah.
lost property, you know, they didn't get their property.
Right,
And people from the North came and bought the
Yes.
farms.
exactly.
And I don't know when they bought them, if they changed the name of the farms. So I don't know
Right.
how old the name
Yeah.
Stillhouse Holler is,
Yeah.
you know.
Still outside, still outside.
It is now, but I
Yeah.
don't know if.
I don't know what it was before.
Right, if,
I don't know.
if it had another
Yeah.
name.
Could have
You
been.
have to search the.
Yeah, one of the things I'm curious about is why they named this little town New Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, right outside of Warren. Good question.
What's the history of that?
Hey, it's got some, I know you've been down there, and look, that cemetery in
Oh.
back of that church, I mean, it goes back in the 17th and 16th century. Oh my goodness, I never will forget. Don't pass this along, but my cousin, which was Barbara and Claudia's dad,
Clyde.
yes, he had, no, well, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the orchard.
We was down there and Reverend Baltimore preached that evening. And everybody was so enthused about this cemetery back then. They was going back looking to see all this stuff in the cemetery. So he said, I'm not going back there. He said, because,
You know you're being taken.
oh, I've been not.
You wanna hear the story?
You can summarize it in a nice way.
You can take it out.
He
It's
said,
not that
he
bad.
said, I might be, he said, I go back, I'll be singing down and stuff. He said, all the slightest, he said, all this group would get on your feet. There wasn't nothing back there. But he had some, you know.
Trying to clean it up.
No, I don't want, because I would never do nothing to
Heard anyone.
hurt not my cousins, because they are sweethearts. and
Well,
both of them.
you know, now, you got me wanting to go down and go in that cemetery
Oh, yeah.
and see whose names are there.
Hmm.
You know, a little boy asked,
Now, which cemetery was that?
It's New Baltimore.
In New
That's it,
Baltimore.
Yeah, down in Warrenton. Yeah, right.
"Ain't
in
white
Warrenton.
church sitting on the side of the road."
It's on
There
here.
was
Huh?
second,
It's on here.
second, second,
Is that
Mount- second Mount Morris. I don't know,
Rick Baldwin used to be the pastor
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
right.
He had three churches, Mount Buren, Mount Morris, and New Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, we used to go down there, yeah.
But
We were there some, a couple times.
the cemetery beside Orleans, that's where I found the link that every cemetery in Fauquier County, you can look up anybody's last name. And there's Baltimore's, and I was looking at Coleman's and
Really?
stuff like that, yeah.
Hmm.
And that New Baltimore is in there. It's in
Okay.
Fauquier County.
Now Bessie, Clyde's wife,
Mhm.
she's our cousin.
Yeah,
Again, she
okay,
was
yeah,
gas.
yeah, sweet lady, yeah,
Grandmother's side,
Yeah.
yes.
okay.
On the
I
farm.
went to the funeral, she had a funeral at Tapscott, well, you were there too, yeah, we both was there. Yeah,
But Dad said we came to the
yes,
gas.
yeah, cause one of, I don't know, great grandfather sister married into the gas family. Peg Ann has got that in her book. Do you know Peg Ann, Williams? She's got all that history and stuff on the
Rebecca's
years.
daughter.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
On,
Yeah,
you said the Gibsons though, right?
yeah, I
And
can't
Gaston-
remember her name, but she
Maybe
married,
was a kid.
yeah,
She was a
Lewis.
Lewis.
Rebecca's
Rebecca
daughter.
Lewis.
Yeah,
Rebecca.
oh, okay, no, I don't know.
Cause she used to go to the plays to get information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't involved, like I am.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're right, we are kin to the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back then, a lot of cousins married each other. Not necessarily
Mhm.
first cousin, but, you know.
They
second
did first cousins too.
cousin.
Lord
So, yeah,
have mercy.
some,
Look, you go, like I said, Prime, you find out all that.
yeah.
There was more sneaking around at night than used to.
Like Granddad Pete.
Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Oh,
he said from the top of the mountain all the way to Cedarville.
and that was his father.
Yeah.
Okay, Granddad Pete
Mm.
had a gray horse. He had a gray horse. Right?
Yeah.
Had a gray horse, and the stuff was told to me. And you didn't tell me. Somebody else told me
Yeah.
that he'd come home from work and get what's the old guy used to work for Rhodes, somebody. Anyway, help him up on the horse, and he'd take a blanket. He'd gone out for the rest of the night. Well, I don't know what it was.
Too much.
But look, no, look, but his, my brother Paul, you know, Deacon Paul Walker, you know, they lived on Stillhouse House. He was married to Helen, and
That was great granddaddy.
they would have prayer service.
And one above it too.
Reverend Gibbs and his wife, and they would go by and pick him up, and he would get to talking about his grandfather. Said, yeah, that rascal man said he would take and grab a pillow and then, like I said, go out, be gone all night, all the way through the neighborhood and
She
stuff.
was married to
And that's-
Dexter.
Paul's granddaddy.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
one or second one.
So I don't know. He must have been a
Are
character.
you trying to say that Granddad Pete was married twice?
He had something in the records twice. That's what the
Hmm?
parallel line means.
And that's
Oh man, I'm significant.
Oh, there's 164 options on there.
oh my God.
Now wait a minute.
Lucy.
Oh,
That's his mother.
oh. Peter Dexter was Granddaddy Pete's son. He married Lucy. Now on the other side, Lucy died in 1927. Yeah, she had pneumonia
Mm-hmm.
and had a stroke.
Yeah.
Mhm. This is the first time I've seen this.
So it's got some hints with it, you know. I check them, double check them.
Yeah, I was gonna
stuff
say,
like
yeah,
that.
make sure you double check.
Yeah.
Some things.
This is our
But she
grandmother.
showed up in a couple different places.
Now, Peter M, that was, I don't know much about, that's interesting.
But you're back in 17.
Yeah, 1796.
There's Lucinda.
That's Lucinda.
Yeah.
And who was I talking to that said that Lucinda's name really was Lucy G. Ball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
They were balls and Fauquier.
It was up there in the cemetery. We used to go.
Yeah,
See, back then, you didn't have nothing to do. We would go playing, because we lived up there.
Mhm.
And we would go up there in the cemetery and we would
send me that.
brought out all the graves. We knew where a brother that died between me and my sister. And then where the brother died between John and Paul.
That was.
And we would
Charles
point him
Michael.
out. And that was
Yeah,
on Granddaddy Pete's grave, they had a headstone. That was, his name was on it. And Peter Baltimore and Lucinda, which was our great grandmother, and Elsie, which was our grandmother,
Mhm.
and stuff. We'd go up there, you know, because like I say, you didn't have to do. We knew where every grave was at. But now
15.
it's all messed up, and the guy
It's all under the road.
built a building up there, and I think it's all, yes, and the half of the graves is under that building. I'm telling you.
And that's,
I ain't going back up there because I almost got in trouble.
Well,
I went up there and pulled on the side, and me and Ann was sitting there, so this white guy come and pulled right up back of my car and just sat there. So finally, I rolled the window down and I said, yeah, can I help you? He said, what are you doing up here? And I said, man, don't be asking me no question like that. What am I doing up here? I said, I'm up here looking at, where my family was buried at, stuff.
Mhm.
So
Is that satisfying?
no, he said, you ain't got no business. He said it was some people that came up there, some house back up there, I don't know where he was even talking about,
Mhm.
and had this party and stuff. And I said, do I look like I'm partying? And he made me so mad. I'm telling you the truth, I was ready to do something that I, would get myself in trouble. So then Ann made it worse because she said, no, get into it. I said, wait a minute, this man ain't got no business asking me that stuff, So I went on, I asked, so we came back up 55 and we stopped at the Apple House.
Mhm.
And I said I was going to get me and her a ham sandwich. Well, when I get out of the car over here on this side, and I'm walking, the door's right here. I'm walking to go up to the door. Here he had, must have followed me, and here he was coming. I just turned around because I said, oh, I know I'm gonna get in trouble, so I just turned around and so we didn't get no ham sandwich. Isn't that the truth?
And how long ago was that?
I haven't been back since because my son tried to get me and go up there with him and his son. And I wouldn't go because I said, no, I'm not never going back up there again,
Well, I met him. I met the man.
How long ago has it been at?
It's been a while.
Yeah, I met him about
Time.
after they put up the
See?
structure.
Yeah, it's a bunch of houses up there now.
You
All
wouldn't
back
know
there.
it. You wouldn't know.
It's terrible now.
I was at
It's
my,
not like it was when we lived up there.
I went to my parent, I guess maybe 5 years ago, for homecoming. I passed the beach up there
Okay.
from Morgantown. Not Morgantown, West Virginia. I lived
Yeah,
down,
over there.
yeah, right here.
Been in Baltimore.
Yeah, and I remember we passed the cemetery's close,
Mhm. Yeah,
It's right by the road.
yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it was deeper than what I was seeing. So you're saying it's more.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, it's,
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what I saw was, oh, man. It, but half of it is not there.
Wow, that's heartbreaking.
But I told my brother, Reverend Allen Baltimore, and we talk just about every other night. And I said, Alan,
6 more feet.
you know one thing?
Yeah.
I said, if that chimney hadn't have fell off the house, we'd have still been up there on the mountain.
So that prompted your move.
Yes, and it wouldn't have been through that stuff, wouldn't have to worry about the taxes would have been paid and everything else. Because what happened, wasn't nobody home but me and my mom. And she was getting ready to wash. So she was coming out of the big house, go over into the kitchen part to do a washing. So we heard something. She said, it sounded like a rock, something fell. And we looked around, we didn't see nobody, throwing no rock or nothing. So she went on, put some clothes over there and went back, got something else. And we had already got the water from the spring, to wash, because there wasn't no washing machine. You could wash the stuff, yeah. So look, we went back in the house and we heard, and all of a sudden, man, all the whole rock chimney just come loose from the house and fell. And here was this big hole. So we put blankets and stuff up, makeshift to lock the, view
Outside,
and the air coming in. But, we had a cousin, which was cousin Dookie, and his 2 sons, yeah.
W.
They could have, because they did stonework and stuff.
W.
So,
W.
and
Yeah.
yes, Loudoun County over in the St.
W.
Louis. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so
06,
we up in
16.
to Grassland,
16.
which was still in Forky County. And instead of, putting the chimney up, if we had to put the chimney up,
Still been-
and
So
we,
what town did you move to? You said
Grassland, Virginia,
Grass.
right, so when Forky, it's right on the end of where the Warren County and the Forky County line came together.
Okay, it's called
Yeah,
Grass.
But it was still in Forky County.
Right.
And stuff. It's where old Dr. Smith's place is over on 638. Yes, 38. I think it is. Yeah, 638. But yeah, because we could have fixed the house up, fixed the chimney and and stuff and but we was more or less listening to my two brothers, Alan and Lloyd. And I don't know if they had pre-seen what they're gonna do, and we moved to Bentonville. Well, that was the worst mistake we ever made, because the soil was so bad you couldn't grow on garden. They didn't have no springs. The water was by cistern. You catch the water running off your roof and stuff, and went down into a cistern. Oh,
No well.
it was terrible, terrible, terrible. I mean,
So what did you do for work? How did you get your money?
well, my mom started doing housework,
Oh, okay.
and which making hardly nothing. And then I started to mowing grass. I had a street down there in town of Bentonville that I mowed all the way up one side and down the other
Oh, okay.
with a mower that they have no motor on it, push
Yeah.
push mower.
Good Lord.
And when one of the brothers that lived next door to each other, he bought a mower with a motor on it, but it still wasn't self-propelled. And I thought I was driving a car, man, because of that. Hear that motor running, it was so easy.
It helped, yeah. It helped push it.
Yeah, but I did. I mowed, and I made so much money and stuff, And actually, that's one reason why I didn't finish my school, because my dad, he couldn't work,
Mhm.
and we needed some
That's what I was wondering.
income. So that's why
Couldn't
I
really afford
went
that
to
must
work,
have really been
to
hard.
take care of, got my mama and family to survive. But my dad couldn't even get Social Security. I'm serious. At that time, he couldn't get it. No.
Really?
Oh, they tried, man, over and over and over.
When did
Yeah.
your dad pass?
Because the Social Security Administration even contacted every one of his kids and stuff and everything. Because y'all had family and stuff too, you couldn't, and
When did your dad pass?
1956.
1956.
Yeah. December of 1956, the 25th of December, Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He lived to be quite.
It was 78.
Yeah, yeah.
So we talked about your family,
Mhm.
we talked about the military, we talked about school, we talked about research, things you're working on. I feel like I'm leaving you out. You're too young.
I'm just here as luggage.
I'm so glad you came. Usually, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question about where you were and what you remember about a couple of events in society that's happened. The day John Kennedy was shot. Any memories of that?
Yes, I was working at a research corporation in Vienna, McLean. And it came over the radio where John F. Kennedy had got shot. And man, it was a terrible day, Oh man, everybody was so sad and crying and stuff, and everything. We came home and listened at the TV and watched, stuff. And it was terrible, terrible day,
You remember?
Yes, I was working at the hospital in Charlestown, well, Ransom. in the lab.
Okay,
I was the lab technician there.
okay.
Mhm. And with Martin Luther King, I was a teacher in Anne Arundel County. At that time, little white kids, I was on the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never had that experience.
Oh, what's interesting? The little kids came up and said, "Oh, we're so sorry your king died."
Kids
Yeah.
kids can be sweet.
Yeah.
They can be mean, but they can be sweet.
Me and Ann, we went to Tennessee, in Memphis, we saw the hotel
Oh,
where he was
the whole
studying,
story.
yeah. And we saw where Elvis Presley went to the,
Grayson?
Graceland, yeah. And actually, the motel we were staying at, his daughter's, restaurant was right across the street. They had an airplane in the yard. And but we didn't know it at the time and went over there I get some coffee. And then when we seen the pictures and stuff on the wall, and that's where his daughter, his oldest daughter, was her restaurant stuff.
All right. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
You need to go back.
Yeah, you know.
I know it almost got me again too, and I didn't take no flu pill either.
I took my pills, but
I should have
I
done.
know it's working.
Yeah, that's right. Don't complain. Some people can't.
Study, you were looking.
And sometimes my sweetheart,
Yeah.
All the things.
I was up there Memorial Day, and I remember the heart. I hadn't seen that.
Okay. I
Tombstone
thought you
before.
said you did, or somebody said you didn't know, sometimes. And right by the road.
Okay, so now I haven't been up there, but last 5 years was like the last time I was up in Mount Vernon. So she's buried in not in Hume, right? She's
No,
buried-
no,
who was that?
Yes.
Oh,
that's,
that's-
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, she said.
Mount Morris, yeah.
She is in Mount Morris.
Mount Morris, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's what I
Mount
was.
Morris. She got a black,
Yeah, he just showed me. the
yeah,
picture.
black, tombstone.
I got the pictures of the other one up in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Barbara donated, she and Claudia, iron pot,
Mhm.
like cooking pot for outside.
Oh,
And they gave it to us so we could sell it and make some money for it.
oh, my God.
And somebody bought it for a nice little piece, but not
Okay.
a whole lot.
Right.
But he wants to use it for when he slaughters his pigs, he can make his sauce, cook his sauce
You know,
down.
That is something. You talk about the old
Um,
orange skittles and stuff. My first cousin, Benny Williams,
Okay.
and Bobby, his brother, look, well, my second cousin,
Oh.
his mother was my first cousin.
Flora.
Flora was my Flora, yeah. I'm sorry, thank you for correcting me. But anyway, I took Bobby when he was having chemo several times to the treatment down in Fairfax. So the first time I went there, I couldn't believe it. On the porch, well, even in the yard, here was all of this old iron skillets and
Cooking stuff.
pots and pan. I mean, everything that you imagine. And then you get inside of the room. Here was this old stove, which was antique. Everything in that house was antique, all the way through it. And do you know, every bit of that stuff gone? Because he had a mortgage he had took out on the house.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then he went and took a reverse mortgage out on top of that, which he shouldn't have done. So he ended up losing the whole thing. So the McCartys lived down the road from him, and they rich people,
I know the
You
name
know,
of coffee.
they one was used to be a doctor. I worked with him at the hospital in Toronto. He was a surgeon, and they bought the house, and he couldn't get none of it, because see, when the banks,
Foreclosure.
both of them foreclosed on it. and they sold the stuff, and McCarty's bought all of it,
Mhm.
and all that romantic stuff was gone.
Now,
And he had a picture when I took my brother Alan from Baltimore back to see him right before he died.
the Daddy Benny, or young Benny.
No, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
And,
Okay.
and he had a big picture up on the wall right in his bedroom of him and Desmond Tutu hugging
He went-
each other.
oh,
Yeah,
he
he
went
met
to
Desmond
Africa.
Tutu, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
That's-
And that's
Nobody,
gone too.
nobody in the family could get that either.
No, Benny
Wow.
couldn't get nothing. I said, Benny, did you get the picture? Did you get it? Benny said, Goldie, I couldn't get nothing.
Now, their dad,
Benny just died.
yeah, I know, their dad,
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
he was related, oh, well, he's related to me, but he's
Yeah,
through my mother's
right,
father.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how.
Yeah. You know, Benny told me in later years, we always call him Benny Williams,
Mhm.
and Uncle cousin Benny. But Benny said he wasn't really a Benny Williams, he was a Smith.
And guess what? My mother's maiden name is Smith.
Yeah. I said, get out of here, boy. He said, yeah.
Yeah, I think
And,
it's,
and guess what? For 70-some years, Benny never knew that his grandfather, which was Willie, which was my dad's brother,
Mhm.
Willie Baltimore, he was married to Lucy Booker. Now, I know you remember the name Lucy Booker. She was a self-proclaimed minister, woman. Yeah, she belonged to our church up on the mountain.
Really?
Yeah, she always went around and she always got up and preached and
She did her thing.
and stuff, yeah. But yeah, and I didn't know it. My starting my adult life, I didn't know it either. And I was talking to my cousin Eloise, which was Uncle Emmett's daughter, and she told me, said, you know that Uncle Willie was married to Lucy Booker. I said, get out of here. She almost made me curse. So, look, and when she told me that, I said, oh my goodness. I said, I never knew it before. I said,
So,
Alan don't know it and Margaret don't know it. I said, you wait till I get home. I'm gonna call them and tell them. They didn't know it.
so
They
Lucy
didn't.
married a Baltimore at one time?
Yes, she was married to my Uncle Willie.
Willie.
Yeah. Yeah. Before she married his grandmother's sister, which was Maddie. He married Maddie after he.
1920,
Yeah, yeah.
1925.
Mm,
Nobody was.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, I had to find out.
I bet.
And you know the Johnson, did you know any of the Johnsons in the front row?
The Johnson name I
Did you know the teacher named Hilda Barber?
I
She
know
was
of
a
her.
doc- Okay,
Yeah.
her mother was his grandmother's sister too. Yeah,
Noni. Her name was Noni.
yeah, yeah.
And you know the Kilby family, right? Of course.
Yeah,
I know.
Right.
Okay. That their daughter Pat.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got the museum up there. Have
Yeah.
you been to it?
Yeah, I helped do some of the
Oh,
research
okay.
for her. So that's why I know a
I'm
little
gonna
bit.
go out and see.
I
it.
feel Barbara. You have to have an appointment because they're not there all the time.
Yes, yeah.
I talk to her frequently, so I'll let her know you want to see it. But Hilda Barber, the school is named after her, one of the
Yes,
schools. up there is
yes,
named
they
after
got a
her.
nice.
Yes,
school.
very nice.
Yeah.
That was,
She used to be my teacher.
oh, did she?
Yeah, when I started,
Okay.
when I left.
The picture of Ressie Jeffries.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, she's extremely fair.
Yes.
She was very.
Oh, she was a sweet lady.
Yeah, but Hilda looked, you could tell she was black.
Yes, yeah,
If you just pass, the way this picture looked of Ressie.
Yeah.
If you just pass, you might.
did you know the, wait a minute. The Smiths in, Middleburg,
Charles Henry. Charles Henry.
Herbert,
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Charles, Charles
Do
Henry.
you know
is
the
Everett's
youngest
father.
one, Barbara? She just died,
Oh, no.
Barbara, yeah. She was married to Miss Jefferson's grandson,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh, God, I can't think of his name now, can't think. It's kind of funny,
A lot of
Everett.
history.
Everett,
Oh, God.
yeah. And she was in a nursing home in Harrisonburg, because her nephew, which is Larry Gaskins, married to Julia Chin.
Okay, I know Julia.
Okay. Now, he told me she was in a nursing home up there in Harrisonburg. I said, Harrisonburg, how'd she get from Middleburg way up in Harrisonburg? He said he don't know because somehow or another something happened and he wouldn't, family fell out and they wouldn't speak it. And then when she ended up dying, and they had a funeral in Luray, and she's buried in Luray. Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, sometimes it's all about the finances. What can we afford and how do we get it done?
I know.
That's what happens in life.
I'm gonna run back again.
Okay.
And then I'm.
You
Okay.
left off. John F. Kennedy was 3 years old in my grandmother's backyard,
Yeah, you 1960.
1862.
You vaguely remember that, right?
All I remember was, Dottie, the man coming out the back door saying, they just shot John F. Kennedy.
He said he remembers.
I remember.
Huh?
I remember the shooting of John F. Kennedy.
Oh,
All I remember is,
That's all he
and
remembers.
then he comes out hollering.
oh,
And Dottie was playing with him. Of course, Martin Luther King, I think we were down there again in the apartment.
That was one of the other questions, Dr. King. And then one a little bit more positive. Is when President Obama was elected. How did you know, that's it for you. Oh,
we have finally arrived.
Took a while, huh?
I just had to pinch myself and say, is this for real?
I think a lot of people did, but the thing was, it was such a, it's not a, it was such a for sure win. There was no question, you know.
There ain't no question with these now.
Well, yeah, we had a whole different place than we were in.
Child, if he ran today, he'd win.
Yes.
So. I think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
I know when he was leaving office, the crowd, you know, and they were saying 4 more years, 4 more years. And he said, no, we can't do that, you know, but I don't know if anyone else can say that.
Sent Mom a video of, what was it, what was that video I sent you of Mama? It's what she was just talking about. They was asking him to 4 more years.
Yeah, when the Obama was leaving
It was
office.
some kind of musical thing, BET or something like that.
Oh,
I forget what it is.
yeah.
And,
Now who's this?
she owned the neighborhood.
No, dear God. Yeah.
Why are you hesitating? It's a holly horse.
Yeah.
Gladiolus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You could be a relative too.
Hmm?
So you could be our relative too. You don't know.
It's you?
You-
I see why he married you. I remember.
What's her name?
Dinah.
Dinah.
Oh, very nice. I love the power pose.
You're in charge.
Yeah, it's a good pose.
Look at me, I'm here. That's what she said.
Mhm.
Okay. Right, I'm back. So you didn't ask about 9/11?
Tell me about it.
Well, me and Ann, we was in the car going to West Virginia. And that's up in Rupert, West Virginia, about 3.5 hours from where we live. And we heard on the radio where the plane had hit the tower. And then we heard another plane hit. Then one was going into the, well, actually, I think we had got to West Virginia when the one hit the Pentagon. And we watched that on television. And it was something. I'm telling you, we just couldn't believe it. I'm telling you, you know, but that's why we was there. We was in West Virginia. The whole day was nothing but
Oh,
the
yeah.
coverage, and it's been for how many years after since, you know. It's really something,
25 years.
yeah. But it was really strange, Joe, because
You were driving early, because it happened early in like
yeah,
9.
well, we left early that morning. We left early that morning. We got a place up in West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
We was going up to a second home.
Auto home.
Yeah,
Awesome.
in the mountains.
Rupert, West Virginia.
Yeah,
Okay, how
it's
about you?
between Lewisburg and
Rainier.
Oh, that is in the mountains.
yeah, between Lewisburg and what's
Rainier.
no,
81.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's before.
Huh? Yeah, 664, yeah.
Oh, and then you got on 64.
Take 81 to 64. Lexington, Virginia.
That's like going to Beckley.
Yeah, Beckley, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. Yeah, we're between Beckley and Lewisburg.
Beautiful country,
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, the East Coast as a whole is pretty, pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's got some ugly stories, but
I know.
the landscape is
Yeah.
beautiful.
You can tell the country, the
We get off at Sam Black Church. That's the name of where we get off at Sam Black Church. Yeah. And
That's the name of the road, town.
Yes.
Okay.
It's where we get off the exit. And it's a story behind it. It was the first time that anybody ever convicted by ghosts.
Okay.
Here's the book.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
got convicted by a ghost.
by a ghost.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's a guy, he had killed this woman. And they couldn't, didn't know how she got killed and nobody else. And it came, and this ghost came to the girl's mother at the bed and told her that I think this guy was a doctor, and that who had killed her daughter. And she went to court and told the prosecuting attorney about it and everything. So they didn't have no
Evidence.
no suspect or nothing else. And when they did, they found out, sure enough, he had killed her. Yeah. Yeah, and he was convicted,
Wow.
sentenced to death. There was some
I guess that's.
crazy. Yeah, we had to go.
ghost.
Usually at the end here, and we like to ask you a question to voluntarily tell us that 25, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, your descendants
Mhm.
come to a place like this and say, what can you tell me about my grandfather or my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, my uncles? What would you want your descendants to know? One thing in particular that you would want them to remember. remember you by, say, or your grandfather? What tidbit did you want to leave for them?
Well, I would, if my grandkids would come here, I would like to say that I was a good grandfather and I was good and kind to them and listened to their needs and I extended love to them, you know. And I would like to them say good things about me, you know. Yeah, and the grandmother too. Because we do love our grandkids.
I can see you smiling all night, lit up.
I guess I'd be saying, I love my children and I always tell them you need to know something about your family and to let them know that what you see on your side has been here all the time. And I love children. I spent 34 years dealing with little kids. So I hope they'll understand that Pop loved kids.
Younger kids, but starting down the trail of knowing our history, where we came from, what we try to be. And both of them were doing excellent as far as college. One's getting ready to start college, one just finished college. And, find out where you come from. I get into it, it's like addictive once you start.
I know, I spent a lot of time. Is that you?
I would want them to know that Grandma loved them very much. And but there was nothing that I would not do for them. And I would want them to look back and see what I have done to learn from it and to continue to pick up the banner and just continue to go forward.
Thank you.
I got one more thing I want to get. You know, I never ever thought that would ever happen in my lifetime. You know, by Ann's trials and tribulation with her education and this stuff. Well, how it really happened was, I can't remember who it called us. It was our congressman from our district, and asked us. They was having an unveiling of Barbara Johns from the school that was closing, St. Prince Edward. We would like to go to the Capitol to the unveiling. So me and Ann talked about it. We said, yeah, we'd like to go. And so then the next thing I told Ann, I said, no. I said, Ann, I don't think we should go because I said, I can't drive in DC no more, you know, and everything. And I said, I don't want to go down there. I said, because the cops are just as bad as the hoodlums, you know. And I said, I don't think so. I don't want to be driving down there. So I kept thinking, how could we go and I wouldn't have to drive? So we thought about Bo Dickerson, and which is two educators in Harrisonburg. And we had been with them down to Prince Edward when they had the dedication of the museum down there for Barbara Johns. So I said, I wonder if they're going. So I said, Ann, call them. So a couple of days went by, Ann didn't call them. I said, you got to call them. So she called them and she handed the phone to me. And I said, oh, I said, are y'all going to unveiling of Barbara John's statue at the Capitol? They said, yes. And I said, okay. I said, can you stop in front row? You gotta come this way, you know, down 8166 and let us follow you into DC. So he said, yes, we can do that. So we'd be glad to. And he said, wait a minute. He said, ain't nobody but me and Owen going. He said, why don't y'all come and ride with us? I said, you got to be kidding. I said, man, I'm telling you this. I said, God done sent you here to, you know, take. And he said, yes. So they came and picked us up. We go in. So before we got into DC, they kept talking about this hotel. And he had told me on the phone when I talked to him, he said, you know, he said, only thing said, we're going to stay for the banquet. Wasn't it a banquet? Yeah. So I'm thinking, I said, oh my God. And I said, they going to a banquet after the ceremony is over. I said, we'd be in DC all night. So they kept talking about this hotel. Well, we get into DC and he went to this hotel and he said, okay, y'all go and get out. Owen got out with us and said, y'all go in the hotel. So I said, what are we gonna do? You know, get a room for to stay overnight, you know, because they going to this thing. And I said, you know, we gotta pay for a hotel, you know. So we go in and he said, come on. So we went down the steps and we get down the steps. Here was this big dining room. They had a table from one end to the other. And it was none of us food. So the people, man, oh my God, they were so, come on, get your plate. And so help me God, if I never tell you the truth, it was, the plates were so heavy, I've never ever had. I kind of remember plates like that when I was a kid, but these plates were made out of this stuff, you know, it wasn't no plastic, you know.
Yeah.
This was rock. And it was so heavy, and I said, oh my God, I put food on it, I don't know what I'm gonna carry. So,
Maybe that's the
and
idea.
Owen was still at the table, so I got my plate and went back. So they said, go back in the dining room. So when I got back in the dining, it was so many people until you couldn't even see. And it wasn't a seat available. So this lady looked up and it had, I mean, it wasn't no plastic things on it. It said that Barbara John's family was on the table. This was made out of real wood. And so she said, come on over here. And I said, no, you know, your family, I don't want to, you know, disrupt your family. So she said, no. So this young man, he got up, he said, no, come on, you can have my seat. And I said, no, I don't want to disrupt your family and stuff. You know, I said, I'll wait till the place gets empty. So he said, no, he said, I'm finished. You come on, sit down. So I said, well, I got to go back and get my wife. So I left my place and went back, got her. Well, Ann couldn't hardly have a plate. They gave her a plate that wasn't heavy like mine. Yeah, because they knew she couldn't carry it. So I said, oh my goodness. So I said, Ann, you take my seat. So then here was the brother of Barbara John's. He got up and let me have his seat. And we sat there. So the woman said, you're all a family. You're all a family. So then Ann saw Barbara John's sister, because we had met her at the museum in Prince Edward. Oh my goodness. So we were family. So we sat there. So the security woman come down from the Capitol and told us what to expect. When my son had told me, said, Pop, you ain't gonna be able to take no cell phone in the Capitol, you know, because they're gonna take that. And and everything. So she was telling us all the stuff we couldn't take, you know, on the pocketbooks and stuff, you know. So she said, but the first shuttle to come down is gonna take the family. And she said, everybody else gonna have to wait for the second shuttle. Well, when the first shuttle come down, they said, come on, you all the family, you're going up with us. So we go on up, and so the driver, he got us up to the captain. So we sitting down at the bottom looking up at that big captain. And he said, don't y'all get off the bus. And he's getting off outside there and standing. Said, just sit here. I said, because they're going to bring the shuttles down and pick y'all up and take you up to you. So they come down, got all the family. So Ann got on the first one and stuff. And I'm still sitting on the bus. So because the woman said, come on. And I said, no, y'all go, your family go first. No, come on. So we got on the second one, and we was following them up the hill and stuff. So went all this steep, man, I'm telling you, you wouldn't take that place. I mean, get up on top, it's flat just like it's table. And all these valets came and said, anybody that even looked like they was handicapped, they put you in a wheelchair. And they put you on the elevator, took us down to one level, then down to another level. And then you would went over and you checked in. And then they said, you have to go through security. So go on security. So guy said, well, you're gonna have to take a cane, because we're gonna have to do that through the x-ray. And so he said, you got anything else in your pocket? Well, I didn't say nothing about my phone, so he didn't take my phone. So when he started down in the back part of it, so he went up the back, and man, that thing got to buzzing like crazy. And he said, oh my God, I said, you going off like a Christmas tree. He said, what do you got in your pockets? You know, so I had my keys, so I put that in the basket. So when he went around the front, same thing happened. So he said, do you have any metal in your body? And I said, yeah, I had both my knees. He said, that's it.
Oh.
So he stopped and everything. So we got back in the wheelchairs, and they took us down and went down to another level and went out into this big room. I mean, it was just so big, chairs everywhere. And they took us right in the red section, right with the family. That's where we sat. And I'm gonna tell you, Google on YouTube, you can see the whole thing.
The whole ceremony.
And you'll see me on it too. So look,
Yeah.
First thing you see, this started last
before the thing even sounded. And I had my top coat on, so I took the top coat off. So Ann said, that's Senator Kane. And I see him, so he had his arm around another guy talking way up front. And he looked around while he had the arm around the other guy, and he did like this. And I said, and I'm still taking my coat off, and he said, yeah. So I go on up front. And I go up, man, start talking to him. And then there are all these other senators and congressmen and stuff was coming out, Spanberger and all of them, they was all coming out. And I'm up outside, man, I gotta get back. So I went back to the seat, and it started playing my favorite hymn, How Great Thou Art. And I'm looking over there. So I had my head turned over that way, looking at the choir from the Eastern High School where Ann went. And so all of a sudden I turned around, and this guy had this camera, the lens was that big, right upside my face, like this. And I said, what you doing? And he said, I'm taking your picture. And I said, oh my God. I said, what are you gonna do with it? He said, you'll see, you'll see. But right to this day, I've never seen it because there's so many different news
Tuesday.
agents there and stuff, so I didn't get the chance to see all of them. But I did see, it's on the film where I was coming, and he, probably because I went up and here came and beckoned me to come up there and talk to him. And then, you know, when I got back and sat down, and that's when he came over and took my picture. But look, them people, oh my God, they treated us like we was royalty. And they was every this one valet, he would come over with the red coat on, and he would stop and tell Ann the history of all about the Capitol, where to see this and see this and see that. Because after it was over with, we went up on the second floor and all these statues. But Barbara John's unveiling was the largest they've ever had in the Capitol. The largest. And it was more people. It was 200 of the family members, 200 of them. And then we got to find out about the banquet because they said we were going to the banquet. Now we walked up the hall and here, and we'd already ate at this hotel like crazy. I mean, they had all kind of food. And here was all this food and stuff, and you just go up and help yourself.
Finger food.
Oh, so we was,
It was good.
oh Lord, it was something. So Bo and like I said, both of them is educators. And they were standing talking to this black guy, and they talked and they laughed and they talked. So he turned around and he said, yeah, I want you to meet Mr. and Mrs. Baltimore that came down with us. So the black guy turned around and he looked at me, and he just looked at me like that, just staring, like he almost had a mean look on his face, just looking in that. I said, what's wrong? I said, you don't like my looks? And he said, no. He said, I heard you say your name was Baltimore. And I said, yes. And I said, well, you don't like my name? He said, no. He said, I just can't believe it. He said, I went to school with a Baltimore. And I said, you did? I said, it's quite a few of us. I said, what was her name? And he said, Shirley. I said, oh my God. I said, yeah, that's my first cousin. And I said, she lived next door to me. You know, we raised up together. And he said, yeah. He said, I went to school with her in Atlanta. No, Alabama. So I said, oh my God. He said, yeah, I talked to her this morning. So I talked to her every day. And look, yeah, this guy was some kind of, I don't know what, he told me what kind of education he was. That's all right. I'll leave it there. So, but anyway, he was really nice after getting it. He said, yeah, I'm gonna call her back when I get home and tell her that I seen you and stuff, you know. But, oh man, it was something else. And they, even when they got ready to go, all the shuttle bus things had gone. And they pushed us all the way down the hill in these wheelchairs.
You have to be afraid.
And I mean, it's going down straight down.
Because I was so afraid that
Because, you know,
he was gonna let
And they said, don't let it go. Keep the brakes on.
I would have been scared to death.
But that was a good experience. I never thought I'd ever experience anything. And before I got home, no, we got on the shuttle bus going back to the hotel. We had to go back to the hotel before we left. So I said, Ann, you know what? She said, what? I said, we've been lost coming into DC. We've been lost going out of DC. I said, we've been lost. We wouldn't have known nothing about all the food at the motel, at the hotel. And we wouldn't know how to get up to the Capitol. We wouldn't know how to park or nothing else. I said, we've been lost all the way around. I said, boy, I'm telling you, say, ain't God good, you know, for what he does, because I'm serious. And,
Yeah,
but,
I'm glad you shared that because that would be something kids would love to have right down the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
And them guys, like I said, they drove us and brought us all the way home safe. They got out and hugged us, man, and stuff, and said hi. They were so glad we went with them and stuff, you know. Yeah, it was really something. So we indebted to them.
We have quite a few debts on this side, don't we?
I know it.
We do. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Sure, sure. Everybody good?
I'd just like to say that his dad was the best softball player I ever played against.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Your dad?
about that.
He would come to our family reunion
He knew how to hit that.
and he enjoyed it.
Oh, he loved it.
Was it for, did he?
In his minister attire.
Oh, that's
With
right.
his sweater. Yes.
Yes.
And he would be out there playing right with his suit and everything.
So in his clergy shirt.
Yeah, yes, yes.
There's so many Baltimores that are ministers. You know, it's the one I went to school with was a minister.
Mhm.
And Coach Carol, Danny.
They're my nephews. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And then,
JP's children.
yes,
Yeah.
Got
Alvin.
three- Yes.
and
Tommy.
Tommy was too, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He married a girl from Warrenton.
Right, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then I had a brother,
Then your two brothers,
two brothers was minister, yeah.
then
Bishop and then Allen, yeah,
and you followed.
yeah.
What age bracket when you started in the ministry? I'm just curious.
Oh, I think how was I, 25?
That's young too. I think Danny, they were kind of, Danny maybe was even older than Carol, a little older than Carol. But like Tommy, I think he might have been just out of high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was young, really young,
Mhm. I
really
remember
young.
that.
And Dan is younger than Carol.
Yeah.
Carol's old.
Mhm. I remember one deacon was, Tommy had just preached in Morgantown. He was like, I think he had been ordained. I mean, he was, but young. And one of the deacons said, it looks like these Baltimores are God's chosen people. Because every time you hear a Baltimore preacher, they get another Baltimore preacher.
Yeah, and then like, look, we went over to Philadelphia, was at a funeral over there, and Reverend Al Fry
Mm.
and Reverend Freeman, he died, Reverend Freeman, so they came back from the burial service, and they pulled up there and they said, hey, Brother Golden, said, all the ministers in your family said, how come you didn't come to the minister? I said, look, don't even go there. I said, I love the Lord and stuff, but I said, I don't think that I was cut out to be a minister. And then my best friend, Reverend Alfred Woods,
Oh, yeah.
look, every time he comes by the house, look, yeah, when you gonna preach your service? He said, I'm gonna help you.
Oh.
I said, you better get out of here.
Never say never, you
Yeah.
don't
No.
know, right? Oh,
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
this ends our formal interview. You're perfectly welcome to look around to talk some more or whatever you want. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
And thank you so much too. And I tell you how much we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah. And I'll get that other Baltimore name and phone number. Well, I was telling you about the reunion in July.
Okay.
Get that for you too.
Yeah.